So it looks like the government shutdown is poised to end very soon because tonight news broke that a handful of Senate Democrats, well, it's not really a handful, more like 10, basically broke the ranks and decided to vote on a compromise bill, which for the next 3 months will reopen the federal government and allow them to debate the ACA healthcare premium cuts, which were what caused this entire shutdown in the first place. So, as it stands right now, this bill has advanced. It has 60 votes, and these are the Democrats that broke the ranks to essentially uh, reopen the government and end this shutdown, which has become very, very, very tumultuous. And what does this compromise have specifically? Well, in this compromise bill, it will for sure guarantee that the Senate is going to vote on basically preserving those healthcare premiums that exist right now, because if they don't, well, then for a lot of Americans, premiums are going to go up, maybe double or triple what they currently are, which would be very consequential. It will also fund SNAP food stamps through the end of 2026 and reverse all of the firings that were done to federal workers when the shutdown began. Now, this compromise bill, if you're someone who's been dealing with a lot of the weather of the shutdown and all of the chaos of the shutdown, I mean, a lot of flights are being delayed, workers are getting furloughed and laid off. This comes across as a bit of a relief to you because, of course, finally we've reached a point where this can end. However, there are a couple issues with this bill, and well, many Democrats are not happy with this bill because it kind of, in a way, feels like a cave to Republicans. And the reason for that is because, well, Democrats really didn't get what they were wanting, which was to ensure that healthcare premiums in the ACA don't double and triple. Um, Perfect system where something like that is possible, you know. Amazing how uh the best you can get with healthcare right now is that you have to fight for it to not be thousands instead of hundreds per month for the chance that your claim won't be denied, but that's a completely other video. Um, the issue with this overall is that many Democrats, and rightfully so, given the history of the dynamics of the party, do not believe that Republicans are going to vote yes on these premiums. They'll agree to a vote and they'll vote no. The promise of a vote is simply just a promise of what could just be voting no. I mean, many Republicans will probably not vote to protect those ACA premiums because they're against the ACA. Of course, they've always been against it. So, to many Democrats, they feel that, well, a lot of those senators basically just backstabbed the entire party and handed Republicans a victory, basically making the last 40 days all for nothing and kind of hurting what was becoming an optical dub for the party. Generic ballot polling when the shutdown began showed Democrats only ahead of Republicans by about 2 points. Now they're over 4 points ahead of Republicans. They also had a very, very big night Tuesday where every election was won by Democrats. Republicans got nothing, and it was a clear message that Republicans were not looking good. So essentially, Democrats just effectively ended what could have been a moment for them to continue capitalizing. The party fundamentally was at their weakest right now in the entire span of Trump's second term, and this kind of just bailed them out from the worst of it. Democrats might have had leverage and they just decided, boom, we've given up that leverage. And this has led many people to blame Chuck Schumer for it, the Democrat Senate minority leader, the leader of the party in the Senate, and arguably the leader of the overall party. Because Hakeem Jeffries, I'm going to be honest, does not feel like he's done much to justify calling him a leader of the party, to be completely honest. Um, Many people feel that he caved to Republicans. Now, he did vote no. However, it's being very much so believed that he had those 10 Democrats vote no, so he could vote no, and it didn't appear as if he himself was caving to the party. Basically, they would take the optical hit for him. However, here's the thing, that still looks bad on him because it kind of then looks like he couldn't keep the entire party in line. And well, that's going to definitely anger a lot of voters. In fact, it's angered a lot of voters tonight. The uproar from Democrats is not pleasant, and Schumer is already very unpopular as it is, even among his own party. So it is very, very possible that his Senate career, well, he's up for re-election in 2028. It's very possible that he kind of tanked any shot at a re-election, though, I mean, he's really old, so he might not even run for re-election. But yeah, this shutdown definitely lasted longer than I was expecting, and I'm not confident that ACA premiums are going to be salvaged. They're going to be spiking, which is going to suck for anyone who, well, enjoyed not having to pay as much for their healthcare as they used to. However, you never know. Maybe maybe they're being honest about genuinely hearing out Democrats for the vote. But either way, this definitely bailed out Republicans from bleeding even further in the public opinion. And it is going to cause a lot of turmoil within the party. However, if you were not looking forward to the shutdown causing even more strain on the country, well, that part has been alleviated. And if you're a beneficiary of food stamps, that part has been alleviated. So it's a mix of good and devastating, is what I would say. We'll see how that turns out. And if that vote goes another way, I'll definitely be here to say I was wrong. But I mean, come on. It's when have Republicans ever voted in favor as a party of the ACA? I mean, we could get universal health care one day, but I mean,